I'm confident in having the conversation, or confident in why something's happening, and I can portray that, the client's a lot more likely to believe it.
We only buy things. And so when the cost of goods goes up to buy, our rates go up to accommodate the cost of things to buy.
Have a conversation with your clients. We can't be scared to talk to one another. The root of all evil is lack of communication.
Hey, Steven.
Hey, Kelly.
It's been like 12 hours since I've seen you.
I know. We just got off of a call for Hard Market Heroes, and the agency we were just at was on it. It was kind of amazing. I'm like, I saw you less than 24 hours ago.
I know. I get to see you this week.
You just can't get enough.
And Bobby might be joining us. She's having a few technical difficulties, but we wanted to kick off the live. Here she is. I'm going to let her in. Hey, Bobby.
Bye. I'm missing my background, but we're pivoting, and I think we have good connection, I hope.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a good scenario here today. I'm going to let you guys take the first question that we got. So the first question we got is, what is a reasonable percentage amount increase to trigger a call?
Ooh, 5% more than your average. I mean, I think it's a difficult question because it depends on the market, line of business, area you're in. Like, there's lots of variables that go in it, but I think what we really need to be looking at is overall what's happening at the agency. And if it's below our average, we need to celebrate that with our client. But we can't say it's 5% or 10% or 20% or whatever. I get on training calls and there's agents like, all of our policies are going up 8%. And I'm like, poo-poo face. And I'm like, oh, wait, let me fix my face. So I just got off a call with the agency where everything's non-renewed or 120% rate increase, right? I think that there's some give and take, but we have to know what our average is. And then we set it for above average increases.
Or we take the approach of, hey, there isn't one. Let's call everybody.
That's my favorite.
Well, yes, I like that one even better. But
I would even say maybe it's like there, as this market changes, it used to be, okay, well, maybe certain rates, but I also think if you really could not, like you're in a dire situation, and I'm going to tell you, there are agencies in Florida that are making renewal calls to everybody. There's agencies across this lovely land that are, but if you really could not, I would even say instead of taking an increase, do it by tiers. All the A's get a call, all the B's get a call, the C's are secondary. I almost like that one better than just this arbitrary percentage that just feels like we're picking a number. And even the average, Stephen, well, that might be our average, but how does that resonate with our clients? Is that
right?
And Stephen, I actually used your example on one of our sessions the other day, and you mentioned, maybe my VIP client has been getting an incremental rate increase that's been under the threshold that's now stacked up and added up over the course of time, which really puts them over the threshold if you have a threshold.
I was also talking to an agency as well that did a lot of non-standard. And I'm like, so you're going to re-spend your time reshopping your non-standard auto book and ignore all of your preferred clients because your non-standard auto is the one that's seeing the largest increase in rate. And they're like, well, we have to save our clients. We have to save our policy count. I'm like, but what about all the people that leave it out the back door?
Well, and it's funny because the agency I was at today is like, donate them to the competition.
Yeah. Yes.
let it go. Let it go, like Elsa says. So that was
know what captive I would send all my business to at this point.
Maybe work out a referral fee. I don't know.
Right.
It's a different kind of nonprofit donation program.
Exactly. You're taking this off but it's better than a tax break. So one of the questions that came up next, I think, which is a good one, which we do get a lot, which is, do you mention price increase in the review? I know I have a feeling on this, so I can either start, or if anybody here has a feeling.
Go. I love it when you have a feeling. So let's have you start.
I have a lot of feelings about renewal reviews. I guess that's where all my feelings go. I don't have feelings outside of renewal reviews.
All my feelings are insurance related, not anything outside of insurance.
I'm in a team here. We're at the last of a 2-year program day. They're like, what I encourage for you for the past 2 years is we need boundaries. And like, we don't have to say yes to everybody. I'm like, yes. The renewal review, I think we have to remember that they are going to find the price increase at some point in time. And on my commercial policy, the cover letter from the carrier said your rate went up over 10%. You should call your agent. So the carriers don't always sell things the way that we want them to. So sometimes this is getting out to your client, right? I lean on the idea that if I go to the doctor and they're going to give me news, I don't want to get an email or a letter in the mail, right? That we need to get the confidence to have a conversation with our client about rate. And I think we have to divorce ourselves from emotion of it. And it gets easier the more you do. But I would just say your rate went up X. The market is doing right now, the average rate increase in the state of Rhode Island, or I'm in Michigan right now, is Y. Your rate went up within variance of that. So because of that, we're recommending you stay where you are. We have the saying in Hard Market Hero, rate cannot be the boss of us. We just have to deliver that confidently, not wishy-washy, no apologies, just your rate is this. This is what has to happen. Let's renew your policy. And I think so often we get ourselves so twisted up about rate, that rate becomes the boss of that conversation. We get intimidated by rate, we get fearful, and then we botch that conversation. And what I want to do instead say is, hey, if the rate didn't go up that much, your rate went up below average in the state, that's about X, use a monthly number, and we just roll into what we would do and we don't look back.
Yeah. And I think, my feeling on this is that we're being honest. It's not like they're not going to know the information, right? We're being honest. We're coming from a good place. We're guiding our customer. We are educating them. And the true and honest fact is your rate is either going up or has gone up. And so we just need to be transparent about that and come from a good place and help them build a plan.
Absolutely. And I also think that if we're twisted up about the rate, we're gonna put those fingerprints on the client, right? And get them worked up about it, where it just is what it is.
I was on several calls or trainings today where we talked about confidence, right? Like, if I'm confident in having the conversation, or confident in why something's happening, and I can portray that, the client's a lot more likely to believe it. But if I hem and ha, and I'm like, well, maybe let me look into, the client's going to take that as we don't know what we're talking about, and they're going to push harder to get an answer that makes sense to them, or going to want to talk to somebody else.
It's kind of like I tell you guys, right? If an agency has to terminate a team member, we don't beat around the bush, right? Like, the person has to go, and I'm like, well, maybe we can give them another try. What about their dog Fluffy? How is Fluffy going to eat? Like, the agency takes on that level, but like, my recommendation is my recommendation, and here is why. And I have to deliver that confidently. Otherwise, agencies keep team members that are terrorists on their team.
Well, I think about it like a CPA. Like, my CPA probably doesn't sit there for, 2 hours trying to figure out how they're going to call me to tell me that my taxes are due and how much money I owe. They're going to figure it out. They're going to call me. They're going to tell me what I owe. And they don't need to apologize for it.
But it's such a good point, because the accountant doesn't take this personal responsibility like we do in insurance, right? What am I going to do? And he's not sitting there. My accountant's there like, let me try to commit tax fraud to get her, like, he's just like,
Let me see if I can shop her with another government agency.
He's like, just you got me your shiz late. You have 2 weeks to pay it now. I don't know. Just pay it. I always want my accountant to be like, is there like a kidney sale program we can get going? How quickly could I sell a kidney to get this party started?
I was teaching an ethics portion of a course, and it's like, what is the agent's responsibility? And it's like to provide protection and coverage, right? So when we go straight for price, we're not honoring ethically what the client needs. We're going straight for the bottom dollar because it's what we think that they want. But is it the ethical thing to do?
No.
And I think we really have to have the conversation with the client to get to the bottom of what their needs are. And then we tailor what they have, and we can feel good about presenting, because it might not be the cheapest, but if it's the best fit for their need, I think we'll be a lot more confident and feel a lot better about what we're offering them.
Absolutely. And a lot of times what I want and what I need are two completely different things. I really want those crumble cookies.
I so wanted donuts yesterday. They looked so good.
What I really need is a salad.
Right.
First thing
I
that
think
ever
I want
happened
the
in my
donuts.
life is, like I cut back drinking a lot, but that when I drink, I want every food in front of me. Like people get munchies when they smoke. I get the munchies when I drink, like anything I can find. Well, Crumble Cookie opened up by my house and I can DoorDash them now, which is like a huge, and you can DoorDash 4. Like that's the minimum order. So like, do I need more cookies in my house? I do not.
But
I
it's
do
cheaper to
not.
get 12, Kelly. It's cheaper to get 12.
I definitely don't need 12 Crumble cookies in my house. The best thing that could happen is they start doing dog cookies and I can get 2 for my dog and 2 for me. Like.
Or are we about to get sponsored by Crumble Cookies?
No,
Yeah.
we're not.
Yes,
No.
we are.
No.
Crumble Cookie, if you're out there, I Diva have insurance. Happy to have a conversation.
Weight Watchers, if you're out there, I'll take on that instead because I don't think I need.
Jenny
I would
Craig,
rather
I'll
have
take you on as well.
Let's get Peloton. But I would say that you guys have heard me say this. My new on explaining rate really is we don't make anything in insurance. We only buy things.
Mm-hmm.
We buy services, we buy parts, we buy materials, we buy compensation for people if they're out on workers' comp. Like we only buy things. And so when the cost of goods goes up to buy, our rates go up to accommodate the cost of things to buy. And I think that resonates with people because it's like, duh, like, okay. And there's a swimming pool of money. And because there's been $18 billion plus storms, the swimming pool is half full. Do you want to get in a half full swimming pool? And because when you're going to do the cannonball, it's going to hurt.
Right.
I think you have to get good at using analogies with people so they understand. Most people, when they understand what's next. And I think that's what's great about the independent agents. Most of them don't cater to the state minimum type clientele. They're catering to a higher end clientele. We just haven't caught up with how to explain it to the higher end clientele. So the next one is, how do you handle monoline accounts and accounts where policy dates do not align with each other to make these beautiful, lovely renewal reviews?
Ooh, review it anyway?
Well, and I think too, we take the primary account, like if it's a flood policy, or sometimes you have to submit new documentation on flood, but if it's a motorcycle policy and they have a whole package, let the motorcycle fly, right? Do it on a whole bar auto. If they have a commercial umbrella, I might not do it in the commercial umbrella, do it on the workers' comp or GL. I'd be looking at the primary policy. And I would say the best time to do anything is right now, because if you, a lot of times, and Stephen will know because we did a lot of this at Cross when we were doing renewal reviews over there, but a lot of it is, okay, if I have 20 renewal calls to make and somebody's out, on sick and somebody else is on vacation and we're short staffed, I'm going to look at that week and I might go ahead and do the necessary renewal calls to load balance. But if it's a normal week and I push off some of these ones that I just could have got done now, I'm going to get my butt kicked, right? So I like to look at it every week at a time. And based on the staffing and the world and the economics and everything else, if you can make the call, make it right now. That's your best bet. I'd rather have some flexibility down the pike and be like, well, that one was already done, that one was already done, that one was already done. So I can save some bandwidth for those weeks that are difficult.
And in some agencies that are heavy with 6-month auto, when we're starting the process, we also are like, cool, like every other one, right? Like, let's do every other one. And then 6 months from now, we'll do the opposite. So we're kind of balancing the workload. But I do absolutely agree. If we have the capacity or we can get it done now, we just need to do it, because we always find an excuse. We always find something that's more important. We always find something else to occupy our time if we're not focused on that task.
And I think that this is something great that agencies could add into their agency standards to what the primary policy is considered. Mm-hmm. Right? That way we're consistent and everybody knows and everybody's aware what that looks like.
Absolutely. And don't worry too much about it. I always say a call is better than no call. So I think sometimes we overthink everything too in insurance. Like, well, but their auto renews a week later. And so if I just wait, I'm like, just do the call right now. The best time to do anything is actually right now. And then you can
right this minute.
Mm-hmm. So real quick, as we wrap this up here. What's everybody's favorite part about renewal calls?
Talking to the customer.
When they don't call
you. Why cover your agency?
form. I love the form, and everyone's so confused at the form in the beginning, but the form is so magical. It lights up, it mirrors, and I love it. I top secretly love it when I go into an agency after like releasing it or a call. They're like, well, we need to change this because there's all these duplicates. I'm like, you didn't make any renewal calls because you would know if you were using the form that the form magically mirrors itself. So it's not a duplicate. And then I'm like, so how many have you actually made? And they're like, none yet.
But I filled out 2 forms this one day.
But I printed the form. Like, don't print the form.
They print the form, wonder why the colors don't change.
Or like, why there's no drop downs and it looks so aggressive. I'm like, it's smart. You just made it a dumb form.
Bobby reminded everybody earlier today that if they printed it out and had it on the desk, it was not going to change colors. It's not that magic. It is not that magic. So please do it on your computer screen.
Ads later, right? And be like, why does my form not change color on my desk?
Bobby's answered that.
I did. I cleared that one up for us.
Mine's not changing color. I have it in my hands. You didn't get the magic decoder ring. That's fine. So that's it. So next week is our final standard week of the Hard Market Hero. I can't believe it's gone by so fast, I feel like.
Really quick.
Really quick. We do have the bonus sections week after of Coast on Fire and how to stop a cancellation. If anybody got that, they're still available if we need them. But next week is all how to handle your remarketing strategy. We are going to remarket, but we really should have a strategy. It should not be a spray and pray scenario. And I'll say my favorite part about this is so many agents are upset about delays in communication with underwriting, right? Things are taking a lot longer. Well, the less re-rates we shoot out into the marketplace, the less we have. So we have to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So we're going to harp next week very heavily on what we call tasteful remarketing.
We need to be our carrier's friend right now, and we are not being friends.
Yes, we need elegant remarketing. We need like gorgeous, elegant, aging gracefully remarketing.
Completed applications that fit the market with all the information that's needed up front.
Top of stack.
Top of stack submission.
A stack.
That is actually bindable.
Yes. And on personal lines, we need to understand that our time is worth something. And so remarketing out of desperation, like I was on with an agency today and they've been making renewal calls and the manager was like, I'm mortified, Kelly. And it was like, what happened? I go, I have 2 people that are shopping the accounts before making the renewal calls. And I feel like I've let you down.
We'll get through it together.
She's like, you have been very explicit with everybody and they are hiding it. And I was like, okay, well, they just need more confidence to talk about rate. And so these are people also very backlogged on their overdue activities. And I'm like, I know why. Because you're doing work that might not lead anywhere. And so I'm excited about this. Any final words on tasteful remarketing from Bobby or Steven?
Pick up the phone. Make it happen. Just do it.
The damn phone.
Right? Yeah, have a conversation with your clients. We can't be scared to talk to one another. Communication is going to be some key. And I think it's the root of all evil is lack of communication.
Well, Crumble Cookie isn't upset about, a freaking $6 or $7 cookie each.
Right.
They're not like, I'm sorry, Philly, but this is going to you're going to have to work on the Peloton a little bit more. And it's a $7 cookie. They're like, look at these flavors.
And each cookie is like 4 servings. So when you look at the information, multiply it times 4. Just saying.
Frostings.
Who can eat a whole
frosting is amazing. Oh,
Bobby, if I have a couple drinks, I can do anything.
Challenge accepted.
I can eat a whole pizza. I mean, it's like an expandable Kelly comes out. I have to keep up with the alcohol consumption with sugar and carbs at the same time to just completely destroy my inside.
But there you go.
All right. Well, everyone catch it on next week, how to have your tasteful remarketing strategy and give your team a little encouragement that they don't have to reshop everything. Thank you, Stephen and Bobby. And I hope everybody else has a wonderful evening.
Well, thank you
guys.
so much. See you soon.